offensive board. Smith's boxing out, boom. Just reads where the ball is going and then finishes it off the back. Baby girl, you got it, girl, you got it, girl.
And so here we go again. Welcome back to the Dark Times channel. And before I get started, make sure you guys go and hit that like button for me if you're not new to the channel and you enjoy the content so far on this channel. Make sure you guys go ahead and hit that subscribe button for me as well. And so let's go ahead and dive right in. The Sunday showdown, or the Sunday matchup between Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark, did not disappoint.
He flings it down the floor. Reese, what a catch and finish!
Gather and finish. Her eyes up on the rim. That is the key.
That's herself. Clark, a bomb is good. A logo three, and then a shrug and a stare. A locked-in face.
Locked-in face.
Clark, a deep three. You bet.
And they both came out and balled. Angel Reese had a monster game. She had 25 points to go along with 16 rebounds, and she's the first rookie since A'ja Wilson to put up those kind of numbers. And Caitlin Clark did her thing as well. She had 17 points and 13 assists. And on a side note, Kennedy Carter, she might be one of the best female players that I've ever seen. Aside from A'ja Wilson, she's probably one of the best female players that I've ever seen. She's the only female basketball player, the only guard basketball player that I would be legitimately nervous to guard out there one-on-one. I might be a little shook. I think she could probably give some NBA players some buckets if she wanted to, because how she moves out there, it's not normal. It's not natural for a woman to move like that. I've never seen it, at least. If you watch her, you watch Kennedy Carter play, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And you can tell that she hoops with the guys based on how she moves. So like I said, I'd be legitimately concerned for my ankles trying to guard her out there. And I think that's a good segue into why Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese are so important to the WNBA. Because had it not been for these two, I would have never known who Kennedy Carter was. And despite what people think, I'm not a Caitlin Clark hater. I just hate her fans. No, I'm joking. I don't hate anybody, but y'all know what I mean. It gets old. It gets annoying with the greatest player of all time. She's going to come in the WNBA and she's going to be the GOAT. Let's let it play out. Let it play out. That's all I've ever talked about. But Caitlin's the real deal. You know, she's not the best player out there, but she definitely does her thing on the court. And one thing that I am impressed with Caitlin Clark by is her feel for the game. She's not out there trying to force it. I thought she was going to come into the WNBA and force up a lot of shots like she did at Iowa. But I'm not seeing that. She plays the game the right way, and I like that. I can appreciate that, because being in that position, nobody would blink twice if she jacked up 20 shots a game, because that's what she did in college. And so I can definitely respect that. She plays the game the right way. And I still stand by what I said. You know, the reason why she's got the kind of fan base that she does is because she's white and she's from Middle America. Now, saying that doesn't negate anything about Caitlin Clark. It doesn't negate how good she is. It doesn't negate her accomplishments, but it is what it is. Everybody has advantages in this life. And being white and being from Middle America will get you a lot of fans. Just ask Donald Trump. And so it is what it is. It's not hate. It's just the reality of the situation. She's using what she's got. And that's what you got to do. You got to use what you got. If she was Shaniqua from Chicago, it'd be a different story. She'd be Angel Reese, basically. And so two things can be true. And if it wasn't for Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark wouldn't nearly be as popular as she is today. And vice versa. If it wasn't for Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese wouldn't be as popular as she is today. And so they both need each other in a sense. Just like Larry Bird and Magic Johnson needed each other to develop the game and develop the NBA. Every hero needs a villain, and every villain needs a hero. That's just how it works. And I'm glad that Caitlin is finally starting to play into it a little bit.
Caitlin, in Atlanta, you had a huge crowd, expecting another huge one anytime Indiana plays Chicago. Do you feel like this is a rivalry?
Man, you guys asking the hard questions. While I'm warming up. You know, I think this is a really great game for women's basketball. I think maybe it's the start of one, but, you know, like you guys have talked about, we're both kind of fighting for our lives. We're both fighting for playoff berths. So I think just, you know, helping our teams be as best as we can is the biggest focus right now.
Because Caitlin could have easily downplayed this question like she has so many times before, but she didn't do that. She understood the assignment, and she's starting to understand the business side of it. And this is exactly why people love the 90s NBA. We had teams and we had players that legitimately did not like each other, and it was good for the game. Everybody could sense it, everybody can see it. It was a vibe, the anticipation of two teams facing off against each other that genuinely had beef, and it was an actual rivalry. That's what made the NBA so good in the 90s. And I think women's basketball, I think the WNBA has the potential to reach that level as well. You know, women are quite naturally a little bit more catty and cliquish than men are.
You would think women would rule the world, but they don't. You know why? Because women hate women.
And that's no slight to women. That's no disrespect to women. I think most women would agree. And in the right setting, that cattiness and that pettiness of women can be entertaining. And then on top of that, they have the skills to back it up now. And so that makes for good TV. And I think a lot of people are going to start to tune in even more now that this rivalry is starting to kick off. This rivalry is starting to bud just a little bit. And I'm going to go ahead and say what I've always said. I think, you know, when it's all said and done, especially with the new rules within the NBA and the lack of physicality, I think people are going to start to gravitate towards women's basketball, mainly for the same reasons that men will watch a women's volleyball game before they'll watch a men's volleyball game. Now, some of these women need to get it together. I'm not going to name any names. Some of these coaches need to get it together. I'm not going to name any names, but they know who they are. They could put on a little bit of makeup. It's sports entertainment. You're on television. You're being broadcast around the world. And I think a lot of these women are being stubborn and a little bit set in their ways, not wanting to jazz themselves up a little bit and put on a little bit of makeup when the lights are on. That's just stubbornness. Because a lot of these NBA players, they're getting haircuts at halftime and haircuts before the game. They're on point, you know, the lineups are crisp, everything's tip top. And so I think women could do the same thing. Just go ahead and put on a little bit of makeup and play the game. Because like I said, at the end of the day, it's sports entertainment. And people watch the game to be entertained. We don't just want to see women playing good basketball. We want to see cute women playing good basketball. The majority of us do. Not all, but the majority of people around the world, if they watch women's basketball, they want to see cute women facing off against each other. And so a little bit of rouge, a little bit of mascara, whatever you need to do to go ahead and get it together, I think it'll help push the game a little bit further. But go ahead and chime in below. Let me know how y'all feel on it. And as usual, peace and chaos.